So you said free will is the sensation of making a choice. The sensation is real, but the choice seems illusory. Laws of physics determine the future. So
I had to say that.
You were compelled. It was determined from the Big Bang. What does physics have to say about free will?
Well, it's not definite because we don't fully know the laws of physics, but the laws of physics that we currently have at our disposal have no opportunity for intercession by human will, right? I mean, we are a collection of particles governed by laws that you can write down and fit on a t-shirt, and those laws don't at any point in the evolution of the particles say, hey, can you tell me now what to do, person? Mm-hmm. They just determine the future based upon what things were like in the past.
But Brian, can't there be an emergent property of that collection of molecules that we can call free will? Just because the emergent property, if you know emergence, it's a feature of an ensemble that cannot be deduced by the study of the individual.
Like ants.
Like ants. You study one ant, you say, hi, ant. You'll shake your hand. You have no idea that 1,000 ants together are going to make an ant mound.
Right.
Or 1,000 termites make a termite mound.
Right.
Or that birds will flock. You have no way to predict
the idea
that.
is
That one ant sounds like Woody Allen.
If free will doesn't
Forget
exist at the level of physics, in other words, if it doesn't exist at the level of physics, could it not exist at the level of biology or, say, psychology?
That's right. So it's a very good point, and it really depends on what your definition of free will is, right? Normally, the intuitive definition is things could have been different, and I could have made a choice for things to turn out differently. And if that's your definition of free will, does that resonate with your perspective of free will? Then I don't see any way to square that with the laws of physics, because anything that you do is your particles executing some kind of motion, and the motion of your particles in your brain and your body have no opportunity to allow you as a conscious being to direct them. What force could possibly that direction come from? Is it the electromagnetic force? Well, that one we understand from Maxwell. Is it the gravitational force? We understand that one from Einstein. Is it the nuclear forces? Those we understand from the standard model of particle physics. What force could you possibly exert on your particles that goes against or goes beyond those that emerge from the equations of physics? That's the issue.
Could our free will thrive in the probabilistic description of quantum physics?
No. Not as we currently understand it, and that's a natural
Don't
place.
make me fight you here on the stage.
Well, we've done this before.
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah, I grabbed his lapel on stage once.
But we both were wrestlers in high school. Different weight categories.
Yeah, very different weight categories.
So it's. I should have said it's possible, but I consider it highly unlikely. So there is a puzzle right now in quantum physics that has been on the table for 50, 75 years, and we don't know the answer to this puzzle. And that's why I have to couch my remarks with a little bit of uncertainty. And that puzzle is this. Quantum theory says that you can only predict the probability of one outcome or another, right? 50% chance electron here, 50% chance there. Yet when we measure the electron, we always find it either here or there, right? One or the other. So how do you go from the fuzzy probabilistic haze of many possibilities to the single definite reality that we all experience in everyday life? We still don't know how to bridge that gap. So within that, if consciousness somehow plays a role in picking out one outcome from the probabilistic haze, then sure, then free will might come for the ride as well.
There you go. You just said probabilistically, the particle can be here or there.
Yes.
But if you measure it, it is only in one place.
Yes.
So my act of thought is I want a cheeseburger. That's the particle in this state. And I'm going to say, I want a cheeseburger. Bam! The particle's there.
Wait,
that's the part I don't buy right there. You see, because...
Why are you poking your...
Because it's random. There's nothing that you did to pick one outcome because you wanted it, because you willed it, because it was your desire. And yet your intuition is you had the cheeseburger because you chose it. If it comes from a random process, it's like throwing the dice. And throwing the dice to get an outcome is not what we mean by free will.
Okay, wait. You physicists.
Sorry.
I'm going to give you a neuroscientific perspective.
Oh, good.
Okay. So from a neuroscientific perspective, first of all, what's happening at the quantum level doesn't really scale up to whether a neuron fires or not, right? I mean, that indeterminacy. But from experiments that we've done, starting in the 80s, Benjamin Libet did studies where he said to somebody, whenever you feel like it, just press this button. And he measured brain activation. And he found, and he said, even before they actually press the button, because that takes time to make the movement, just let me know where this little dot is on the clock when you feel the first inkling of the intention of wanting to move. And then what he found is about 350 milliseconds before a person even had that conscious intention, there was a gearing up of brain activation, right? So then, leap forward to current times, we do neuroimaging experiments where we can say to a person...
Just so people know,
Yeah.
you measure people's brains for a living.
That's my job. That's what I do, yes.
Okay.
I would be no help to you.
It's my unconscious here again. He's always butting in and, we need you. We need you. But you can measure it using fMRI, which looks at blood flow to different parts of the brain.
Functional
Magnetic resonance imaging. Basically, looking at blood flow as a proxy to neurons fire. The blood is going to go where the neurons are firing because they need energy. So we can say to you, okay, just choose left or right, or that hamburger or not. And
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger, sorry, that's a cheeseburger.
He chose to put cheese on that burger.
We can predict up to 10 seconds before you even have the conscious inclination of your intention, which you're going to go, left or right, or cheese or no cheese, right? So at that level, I like to say, yeah, sure, we have free will, but we're just not conscious of it, right? The brain is making these decisions all the time, and we have this illusion of free will. But the question really is why do we have this illusion? Why did we evolve this illusion? Is it important? If we didn't have it, would it change our behavior?
Yeah, I mean, it strikes me that it gives us that sense of control that presumably out in the savannah, 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, made the difference between surviving and not. If you're invested in how things turn out and feel that your decisions can affect how things turn out, you're more attentive, you're more engaged. It's something that matters to you more, and presumably something like that or some parallel story like that suggests why we have this illusion.
So you're less likely to be eaten.
Yes, that's the
Right.
point. That's the point.
Well, so you both agree with one another, with each other, that from physics point of view, it's deterministic. You didn't use that word, but I'm putting it in your mouth.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay on the radio and live show, but
Right. So
Yeah.
Heather, so your results are consistent with his, basically.
Yeah. I think from both a physics perspective and a neuroscience perspective, we come to the similar conclusion that it's an illusion, that free will is an illusion, even though we really feel like it's not. And actually, studies have been done, which when you tell people that free will is an illusion, and you start giving them subsequent tests, they're more likely to cheat on a math test. They're more likely to act unethically. So the fact that we have this belief, those who have had it actually are better able to survive in the system along the line.
We're more likely to behave.
We're more
we
likely
think
to
we're in
behave.
control.
However, we also have evolved for there to be cheaters, right? And they can win. And so if we're all cheaters, no one would win. But if we all...
I just asked Tom Brady.
And Chuck, he looked so deflated at the end of that game, right? he was sad. Yeah. So, Heather, is there a let me ask you a blunter question.
Right.
Does it even matter that you know this if we all feel like we have free will? I want to believe that I go to school and get a good job and behave, and I want to believe all that.
Well,
you tell me I shouldn't believe it? That if one day I end up in prison, that was predetermined from the Big Bang?
And wait,
You're saying yes to that?
But wait,
Absolutely,
as an addendum to that, as an addendum.
if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. There's nothing I can do to stop it.
So if I kick your ass right now,
That's it.
that was
Then
predetermined
it was meant to be.
from the Big Bang.
It was meant to be, my friend.
I don't know how this got so sexy.
Play Plus, Brian, kicking one's ass is not a literal stick your ass in someone to kick.
Well,
But wait,
From the hood, it means just winning a fight.
Oh,
But that
Actually,
predeterminism.
Brian was born and raised in New York City, so went to Stuyvesant High School. So he's homegrown.
Oh, nice.
Homegrown.
But wait, that predeterminism that you were just talking about. Okay, let's say, for instance, that you do accept that, and then that leads to fatalism. Was that also predetermined? So the fact that you were given this information that, well, I'm not really in charge of my own decisions. My brain is making these decisions based upon these neurosynaptic transitions that happen within my mind. And so I just let that happen. And then I say, okay, because of that, I don't give a damn about anything. And I just let it all go. Was that predetermined?
yep.
well,
Well,
let me-
there you
let me-
about
but
it.
also to put it in perspective.
Sorry,
Well,
man.
okay. God, I'm going to shoot myself tonight.
But you
Wait,
see,
I gotta just let the record show. Chuck put out a really awesome question right there, and it just got a one-word answer. I know. You could have at least stretched out your answer. Give a guy a break.
No,
you know?
happy to. So often people, when they encounter these ideas, and you must have heard this too, people say, okay, then I'm not going to do anything. I'm going
Right.
to sit on my couch, and what does it matter?
Fatalism.
Right? But you see, that's a mixing of two distinct views on one question. You see, if you think that you're making a free choice to sit on your couch, then you feel like, well, now I am going to give in to this, and I'm just going to sit there. But if you do that, it was determined. So exactly what you're asking. If you choose to sit on your couch, it's not that you made a volitional choice. It was set in place. And if that's what was going to happen, that's what's going to happen.
So, but then by that particular measure, all information that we receive then predetermines everything that we do. That's really what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. And moreover, but to just give this a little bit more color, I think your view, Heather's view, and Baba's
Don't
view.
mansplain her view.
Okay, I won't that. But what I heard Baba say.
Now let me tell you something,
Hang on,
Brian.
hang on,
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I predetermined to say that.
We spoke about this before we came out. But Baba's description, I think, really at least helps me when I think in those terms, which is it's not that free will is the intuitive one that we're talking about here. Free will really is the fact that we're able to carry out this amazing spectrum of behaviors. We can walk, we can talk, we can sing, we can come up with ideas. The fact that they had an earlier cause, maybe even back at the Big Bang, to me doesn't take anything away from creativity. It doesn't take anything away from originality. It doesn't take anything away from having a sense of authorship over your own actions, because you're the most immediate cause of those actions. They emerge through you, through your particles. Your particles in your brain are configured in such a way that when certain stimuli hit your body, you said and do certain things. The fact that it's determined, who cares?
So there's different views of free will. Okay, there's not just determinism and non-determinism. There's compatibilism,
Which is what that is.
Yeah. And compatibilism is saying that the world, it is deterministic, but we also have free will within that because of these probabilities. And the other question, getting kind of to what you were saying, is that, so then people throw their hands in the air, okay, if there's no such thing as free will, then I can do whatever I want. I can go murder someone, it doesn't matter, it was predetermined. However, we have also
However, Chuck.
evolved.
There's a
There is a
there.
however, that's
That's
really
it.
important. We have evolved the capacity to have self-control as other animals. But in particular, we have the largest percentage of prefrontal cortex than any other species, which is the part of the brain that has that ability to control our innate impulses. So we hold people accountable for their actions to the degree to which they have the capacity to have self-control. Therefore, children are less responsible for their crimes than adults, or people who have prefrontal lesions or severe psychiatric illness. So
Because children don't have a fully developed
prefrontal cortex
yet.
until about the age of 25.
And
So
for guys, it's 35.
yeah, it gets a little bit pushed out a little bit more.
Or perhaps 70.